use the word perfect, but nobody could ever be that word. Words are just words, and humans can't become words. But a photograph is worth 1,000 of those words, which implies the picture is of a simpler and greater purpose than words. Only machines are perfect, and you can't live your life in a series of thirds like a comic book, because pictures are synonymous with action. There's a strategy, and then the follow through. And yes, the plan can lead one to satisfaction, but it's the thoughts behind the plan which allow one to execute. And so the thoughts and relationships that I take for granted, whereas the frames will remain disenchanted. Actions and feelings may be repetitively candid, but it's best to craft that which cannot be recanted. Mentality scattered, searching for little sound advice. Observing be the meat, words just a little seizing device. Talk is cheap, but the words will trap you in an overspiced vice. So reap the meat, but leave time for man to turn into mice. Mentality scattered, searching for little sound advice. Observing be the meat, words just a little seasoning device. Talk is cheap, but the words will trap you in an overspiced vice. So reap the meat, but leave time for man to turn into mice. You don't learn the material on tests, you just make good answers. So out of school you spend your time like a dancer, not being happy or nice, just making your life look good. You need to realize you're a product of your choices, you really should. It sticks so much that the moment you're projecting towards, and that human being you feel you need to look good for, both are fucking non-existent in the first place. See, perfection is just a concept imposed onto machines. Perfection isn't humans, the only thing perfect is machines. But is it destiny for humans to become machines? Because there must be a consequence for being immersed in technology, or it's only logical for it to wear off on the beings. So wake up and just encircle the process, and that's what I fear is happening to the human race, in which there won't even be a first place. Mentality scattered, searching for little sound advice. Observing be the meat, where it's just a little seasoning device. Talk is cheap, but much will trap you in an overspiced vice. So reap the meat, but leave time for man to turn into mice. Mentality scattered, searching for little sound advice. Observing be the meat, where it's just a little seasoning device. Talk is cheap, but much will trap you in an overspiced vice. So reap the meat, but leave time for man to turn into mice. Mentality scattered, searching for little sound advice. Observing be the meat, where it's just a little seasoning device. Talk is cheap, but much will trap you in an overspiced vice. So reap the meat, but leave time for man to turn into mice. For real, see, this is what helps me keep my cool, and I defied some of those bureaucratic rules, because embedded in those structures is the drywall of fools. We say Earth's screwed up, but I wanna know who's holding the wrench. Maybe it doesn't help to sit in judgment. In fact, I get no rest, I'll have plenty of that when I'm dead. And beat less, invest your mind, as you find it takes longer in the mornings to rise, as more addictions arise. So don't forget artificial sugar for the fat in your thighs, consumes the drugs in the food to intuitively oblige, and force down the fluoride for the hypnotic high, and go to sleep with no view from the third eye of the mind. And would citizens notice if we added a quarter to each buy? Yeah, our selfish gain will add up over time. Yeah, that's fucking taxes ruled like Attila the Hun. I live in a land where opportunities are said to wildly run, but blind obedience isn't exactly my version of fun. Mentality scattered, searching for little sound advice. Observing be the meat, where it's just a little seasoning device. Talk is cheap, but too much will trap you in an overspiced vice. So reap the meat, but leave time for man to turn into mice. Mentality scattered, searching for little sound advice. Observing be the meat, where it's just a little seasoning device. Talk is cheap, but too much will trap you in an overspiced vice. So reap the meat, but leave time for man to turn into mice. I was a kid who paid attention to thoughts. I can see how you interact, so taught. So every picture is the ironic reality of thought. So I wonder if thought is more important than the plot. And I guess peers embrace technological singularity, along with a largely false sense of popularity. It's not my fault most fall victim to conformity, but for me, it's better to just see through the fumes. Please take a step back and don't be all consumed. Positivity is opposite to acting pretentiously enthused. Untangle yourself out of the web of you, me, and we goes. It's best to separate from the facade of fake amigos. But see, everyone's the same, just separated by ego. Mentality scattered, searching for little sound advice. Observing be the meat, where it's just a little seasoning device. Talk is cheap, but too much will trap you in an overspiced vice. So reap the meat, but leave time for man to turn into mice.